Well, hello YouTubers out there. This is NHRA 1975. Today is March 19th, 2015, and I'm just sort of restarting on the truck. It's been a real cold January and February. It was about the coldest February in about 100 years up here, so I've been really limited in what I could do outside. Now, a few weeks ago, I was able to disassemble the right-hand side of the front suspension on the truck, take that all apart, and I want to rebuild most of it. Upper and lower ball joints, new bushings, upper and lower control arm bushings. Hoping just to reuse the coil springs. They seem to fit pretty fine, so I'm just going to swap them side to side, but it's going to be kind of expensive when I look at all the individual pieces I need to get for this front suspension, but I figure it's got 190,000 miles, and it'd be a good idea just to rebuild it all, so there won't be any problems down the road, and it'll ride real nice and tight. So, what I'm going to start doing, I just want to make a video for people, because I've had to do this myself, I don't know, about 10 times on various cars and this and that, on the Monty and now on the truck. But I just want to make a video on how to do a coil spring removal and some of the things you need to know about it, and just sort of a little bit more detailed than just a gloss over sometimes. So I'm hoping it helps out someone. As people know, this is these are in a lot of tension, and you can obviously really hurt yourself if it lets go. But I'm going to try to show you all the things, as safety precautions and all this and that, to prevent that from happening. So we'll start on this real soon, and I might have to do the fast forward technique, or I don't know what it's called, speed up the video in order to sort of not make this too long. So anyways, let's get at it. Hey guys, one of the first steps I do is I just reference where the coil spring is before I start taking everything apart. It's important to put that in the same position when you reinstall it. So the big thing is this down right here. I'll just use this white pen, make a little mark. So that's going to indicate exactly where it should be when it's reinstalled. I'll also take a few pics too, just to kind of have an idea. So that's the first step. Okay guys, next step up is to install the coil spring compressor. This is a KD Tools unit, and it is actually supposed to be for a little bit smaller springs, but it works. It does compress it. With these springs, there's a gauge you can put on it, and this is a little less. This isn't 100% sufficient, but I'm going to also wrap a chain around the coil spring to, if there is any kind of problems. So what you do with this, first of all, just give it a light coat of WD. You want these threads to be somewhat lubricated, so they don't gall up. And this thing is just simply fished through the bottom. I'll do it after here, and maybe I'll speed up the video and show you, and you'll get an idea. Okay. Alright guys, just fishing this through. It's a little tricky, but you gotta just get these claws so they're oriented properly, and that's that. I mean, it's not a huge thing, it's just a little tricky fishing it through, but take your time, and you'll get it. So the claws here, obviously the bottom, you'll hook in with like that, and then you put the rod through. Here you go with the rod. So the bottom one is the unthreaded, the top is the threaded. and you thread the rod in the top, and there you go, right? Okay guys, I have the coil spring compressor oriented how I like it. So I'm just going to tighten her down. So you're just really trying to use this compressor to reduce the amount of tension on this, just to take the tension out of the spring. It's not necessary to totally compress it down, and in fact it's dangerous to over compress it. So that's the objective here. I'll just get the extension and tighten it down a little more, but after that, that's cool, and then I'll wrap a chain around it. Alright guys, just putting the chain on here as an added measure of security in case the coil spring lets go and there's something to keep it held up. So just always when you're doing stuff like that, just think ahead. Like if something when you're doing something like this, in terms of reducing your accessibility to things. So I'll put on the back here, and that should hopefully keep it out of the way enough, the chain out of the way at the same time. Stops anything back. Alright guys, well, just like what happened the other side, I can't really get these cotter pins out very well. Maybe I'm giving up a little too quick on them, but if anyone knows any tricks to get these things off, let me know. So for what I'm going to do is what I did on the other side. Use a nut buster to split the castle nut in half, and then all this will come apart. And again, it's all going to get replaced anyway, so there's no real point in trying to save anything. So let's let the nut buster do its work and split this sucker. Guys, I did get the castellated nut to just turn. Unfortunately, my poor little nut busters, well, its nuts got busted, so no good anymore. Now the thing to do is to split. You're gonna have to take the ball joint and get it to release off of this piece. And these are on there pretty tight sometimes. And this, you use this joint separator as well as some BFGs, and it will separate itself. So that's the next step. Now you want to keep that nut on, just a hair. Like you want to keep it threaded on, so that if it's holding it together. So don't totally take that off at this point. Let's leave that for later. Okay. All right, guys. A pickle fork. It takes a while to kind of maneuver it in there so it's nicely in, so it can actually do its job and separate. And you're gonna have to use BFGs and even bigger BFGs. People in the automotive world probably know what BFG stands for. So let's separate this thing. Guys, the joint separator has done its job. As you can tell, there's play in that, so that's good. So now it's just a matter of taking that off, releasing the jack, and the coil spring compressor should do its job in retaining the pressure on this, so you can release it as it comes out. And just make sure the chain's on, your claws are still attached properly. Just do some secondary checks. This can be dangerous stuff, so take your time and think it through. Guys, almost ready for this whole thing to remove this. There's a little bit of tension left on the jack. I have my reaching pipe, so I'm gonna try to go from this behind and just put some leverage on it and get this totally off, and this coil spring should come out. Alright guys, just got it out. Got this sucker out. So next up is to just release the tension on it, and that's that. So hopefully that was enough. I got a lot of footage here, so I'm gonna have to maybe speed it up and whatnot, but okay, all the dudes and dudettes out there. As you can tell, the coil spring has been removed. So I'm just going to remove the coil spring compressor. Just make sure it's actuated this way, so if it blows, it's not blowing up in your family jewels. I'm sure a lot of dudes and dudettes out there are going to want to rock and roll again one day, if you know what I mean. So just take some caution. Okay. Alright guys, so obviously you can tell I got it out. So just what I'm going to do for this, I'm going to try to save a little money here and just swap the coils from side to side. So I made sure to mark L on this one for left side. And I also put a wire down there to remind myself that that's where the bottom of it is, because there is a difference. So that's it for that. Probably bead blast these and paint them up, pour them. And then with the rest of the suspension here, simply just remove the upper lower control arms. I mean, that castle nut's probably same deal, messed, but from here it's not so bad. All the stress is over, so hopefully it's helped. Would have tried to give some tips and whatnot, have helped people, because it can be a little worrisome trying to get those coil springs out. I mean, it can be dangerous, so hopefully something I've done here has showed someone some tips. Okay, keep on trucking.